This is why grilled cheese is always better at restaurants. Oh, hey, here's a surprise. The cheese that you use could make a difference. So if you were gonna use, say, a nice white cheddar or a regular cheddar, or my favorite, American cheese, that makes all the difference. And don't get me wrong here, I love American cheese. I think a beautiful slice of sodium citrate and cheddar is one of the best American inventions of our time. And I love this. This makes a perfect grilled cheese. But I'm just gonna show you at the restaurant a type of cheese that we used that made it just insane. I was just talking to myself the whole time because I wasn't recording. But anyways, I just shredded the cheese and I was explaining that I'm just showing you guys techniques of things that I would do at work, so you don't have to work in a restaurant. Basically, this is gonna be a technique to up and up that grilled cheese sandwich. It's super easy. It's gonna be something that's gonna make you think, wow, I could have just thought of that. It's very simple, nothing groundbreaking. And it can also be done with some regular sharp cheddar. If you don't wanna buy the aged white cheddar expensive stuff, you can just use a regular $5 block of cheddar, make a bunch of grilled cheese sandwiches with this exact same technique. Now, the next reason would probably have to be some fiend herbs. Yes, I know this might sound a little odd to you, but adding something like an aromatic or a fine herb like a chive is gonna make it so much better. So in this case, in this scenario, it's gonna be aged white cheddar with chive because they make such a great combo. And if you wanted to, you can up it up even more, add some caramelized onions to it. It's a cheesy chive situation. This can be kept in the fridge until you need it. That's something that we would do. We would have giant Lexans full of this cheese concoction. I mean, like this size, huge pans full of this shit. I remember making hundreds of grilled cheeses on brunch. Fucking hate brunch, but yeah, hundreds of these would go out during brunch and they're super popular. What kind of bread that you use is going to make all the difference. These are my two favorites for the grilled cheese sandwich. And when it came to the one at work, it was always a sourdough loaf for the grilled cheese. And that just adds so much more crunch, so much more flavor and like tanginess to it. It's just amazing. I love sourdough. I also love potato loaf. The classic, of course, you could do a shokupan, white bread, anything like that, just like a fluffy bread. This is another like just classic with American cheese go-to. Okay, here is a question that you've probably never asked yourself, or maybe you have. And that is, how do I keep my bread knife sharp? Or how do I keep it nice and aligned? Because that's what this is gonna do here. And that is using one of these. You might have seen these before. They're called honing rods. A lot of people mistake them for sharpeners. That's not what they are. They're honing rods. What they do is they realign the blade because the blade like goes back and forth. It actually warps. That's what the blade does. Anyways, this is something you can do to realign your bread knife and keep it nice and sharp. The little ridges on the blade align perfectly with the honing rod. So you take that little ridge, align it with the honing rod, and then just run it up and down. And there you go. You could just keep doing that all along the edge. And that's gonna keep that bread knife working properly as it should. And then of course, when it needs to sharpen, I would take this to a professional because I've never actually sharpened a bread knife properly, but that's the way you keep it going. Hello again. So we're in the oven because not only are we gonna use the oven, but what I wanna talk about is the pan that we use. And the pan that we use is very important. I like to use a cast iron skillet for my pan of choice. And because two things. This thing is gonna retain heat, which we'll need when it goes in the oven. But the next thing is it's gonna have a very evenly dispersed heat. That's why cast iron skillet's great, iron's great. I've used a stainless steel pan that works just as fine, but cast iron is the real winner in this case. So cast iron wins. This is going to start on the stove and then it's going to finish in the oven. But here's the thing, I'm on medium heat. My favorite fat of choice for a grilled cheese sandwich is butter, and that's what we always use. Butter makes everything delicious. That's probably why everything in restaurants is delicious, because butter is just delicious. That's the way it is. I don't know if you caught that right there, but that is the technique. Basically, sprinkling the cheese all over it. It's gonna form a really beautiful crust. Once I start to build up some of that nice brown crust on the edges, it goes right in. And the reason for the oven, here it is. It's all about heat. Now with a grilled cheese sandwich, you wanna take your time, you wanna have a nice medium to low heat on your pan so you don't burn that bread. But the thing is, that cheese needs to melt. For that to happen, if we toss it into an oven, it's gonna get that perfect like ooey gooey melty consistency that we want for the grilled cheese sandwich. And it's not gonna ruin our bread. So this is the best way to do it, in my opinion, and from what I've done for like the thousands of grilled cheese sandwiches that I've made. So my oven is set to 445 degrees Fahrenheit right now. That's just because I'm used to tossing them into a 500-degree oven. So at this rate, it should take me probably about 2 more minutes. I'm gonna pull it out. And with some regular cheddar cheese. Same thing. Same, but different. Beautiful. Straight out of the oven. That's what we're working with right there. See how the cheese is all melted, ooey gooey. Come on, look at that. Yo, look at that. Look at that crust. Okay, so how fucking insane does that look? That is a beautiful thing. That crust is just coming right off. Okay. You see what I mean? Ooey gooey cheesiness. Yum.